Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and this is the astrology birth chart for Khloe Kardashian. And we can see that she is a sun in Cancer here, and a moon in Gemini, and Aquarius Rising. And this moon in Gemini, sun in Cancer is a combination that I particularly like. And this is a very interesting birth chart for me. And I look at this as, I don't know that much about Khloe Kardashian, but I did a little bit of research. She's been in the news lately. And to me, this is uh, a very unfortunate birth chart. Many people may not look at it that way. That's the way I look at it. I see it very often when it comes to women in particular. And let's get into it. So she has this Aquarius rising to 25 degrees, and we see that Uranus is the ruler of the Aquarius rising, and it's there in Sagittarius retrograde on the midheaven. So Uranus can definitely correlate with some trauma, especially when you see some of the other things that we're going to see in this chart here. We see a Mars Saturn, a pretty rough Mars Saturn conjunction in Scorpio in the ninth house there, and we can throw in Pluto as well. And I know another person who has this. Uh, and I have myself have a Pluto Saturn conjunction, but throw in Mars. This is a particularly rough conjunction there. And then with this ruler Uranus, it's also on the south node, and the south node being there on the midheaven as well. It's not here on the screen, but there's the north node at 6 degrees, and it would be there 6 degrees in the ninth house with Uranus. So we're already seeing the indication of trauma, her self-image, having some trauma surrounding her self-image, and we see the north node has Chiron on the north node there in the third. So there's some indication here that there would be some healing of the mind. And I'm going to get into this. Stay with me. I'm going to get into why that I think this is very unfortunate. So one other thing I want to mention is the Pisces Virgo interception here. Here's Pisces, here's Virgo, and you can see there's no house cusp on the Pisces Virgo signs. So she's going to be dealing with not just dealing with trauma, but she's going to be dealing with, as I said, issues about her self-image, potentially weight issues. What her looks are. Like, is she pretty enough? Is she skinny enough, etc.? That's very common with Virgo and Pisces placements. And here we see Virgo. She has no planets in Virgo and no planets in Pisces, but the signs are intercepted, which is really showing that this would be a person that has the energies of these two signs very much established in herself. And when I say trauma, I think she was in a bad car accident at one point in her life. We're talking about things like that. She was ridiculed for being fat. We could also include that. And before I get into anything else, I saw her. I saw a before and after of an interview with her on Ellen, and the before is what I would say is would be the normal Khloe Kardashian, and then the after is what I'm going to get into, where I would say it's very unfortunate. So she also has this sun in Cancer, but it's in the Leo house. So very much can consider this a Leo person with a Sun Venus conjunction and a Sun Venus Mercury in the fifth. Even though it's in Cancer, it's in the fifth house. And then we can also see that Venus is conjunct Mercury as well. And oftentimes when we see this Venus Mercury, we see a lot of these themes in the person of not being satisfied with their looks. and not just having not just being dissatisfied with their looks, but having it if it becomes to a point where it's actually affecting their life, and they can do things like having to have things changed cosmetically, which she has done in order to be satisfied rather than to work on the mind. uh, and I really can't say. I've never worked with a person like this personally, uh, so I can't really say if it's something that can't be overcome uh, without cosmetic intervention. So I will say that. But we often see this Leo Virgo. When we see placements in Leo, we see placements in Virgo. This simultaneous putting themselves out there, being center stage, uh, being that sun that shines and looks good, and then simultaneously having Virgo right after Leo. We'll see that need to humble themselves, the need to maybe have some work done, uh, the overthinking of all of this. So again, there's many different ways to look at it, and if you are this person, you may have your own experience. I have my own experience with it. My thing is to overcome it without um, without really with diet and exercise and healthy lifestyle. Because when I saw her, the reason why I say that about again about it being unfortunate, when I saw her previous image, to me that is a much better image than the after. Uh, even with the weight that she says that she has too much weight, even with the weight, the image before, in my opinion, is much better than the after. And we can see here there is more to say about that. We can see. Let's go. Let's kind of switch to the positive, a little bit more of the positive. She has a Jupiter Venus opposition. She has Venus here at 10 degrees, Jupiter there at 10 degrees. 10 degrees Capricorn. You're very fortunate when it comes to the family. You can see that Cancer Capricorn, Moon in the fourth, North Node in the fourth, on the fourth house cusp there. Very fortunate when it comes to family. Everyone knows that, the Kardashians. There's even a Uranus in conjunct to that Venus there in the 10th. Where is she getting all of this uniqueness, this feeling of uniqueness, this individuality? She's getting it from the family. If it wasn't for her being born into that family, she'd be just another normal person. So we also can see that the Jupiter is at 8 degrees. It's in the same degree as the midheaven, 8 degrees. Venus is at 10 degrees, and so the Sun is at 6, almost the same degree to that midheaven. And you really could say with these inconjuncts, the midheaven there, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, that conjunction there, that there would have had to been some adjustments. And this is a Scorpio inconjunct. Now let's say if it would have been a Virgo inconjunct, it would have been maybe more adjustments of the mind, self-improvement, working out, etc. But it's a Scorpio inconjunct. So what could that mean for her? Well, it could mean the cosmetic, the surgeries, the facial surgeries, and whatever else she has had done, versus the self-improvement. It's the Mars, Scorpio, Mars, the cutting, Mars, Saturn, in order to improve. You can see that on her third house, she has Taurus in the third house. We could see what's on the mind. Well, food could be food, sustenance, nutrition, money. That's mainly what's on her mind. And it was interesting to see that most of her relationships seem to be basketball players, famous people. And you can see Leo in the seventh house cusp, people that are out in the open. The ruler being the Sun, conjunct Venus, people who are out in the open, that have money. that are famous, that are good looking. Fifth house as well, the Leo house. So very, very uh, heavily geared towards dating famous people for sure. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Any thoughts you may have, feel free to leave them down in the comments. And as always, I would love to do a reading for you. You can contact me anytime, joesastrology.com.